information station. Had to play some Stevie Wonder, some happy vibes here this morning with our first show of the new year. The Steelers, a big win yesterday.
Hey, do you know that did you see that they blessed the end zone where the field goal was missed with holy water before the game?
There was a priest.
There was.
I mean, look, there's the video. I got it for you.
There was some Tomlin voodoo magic.
I'm Vic Bow, sorry. Hey, Brendan, how are you?
That's Brendan. I'm Grant.
What's going on? I'm disappointed in Grant. He's making it all about the Steelers on a show called MIZ Central, where your Missouri basketball Tigers took down the defending national champions on Saturday in hoops. And he's talking about Pittsburgh Steelers.
Give him his moment for a second.
I just needed a moment. Now, let's talk about those Missouri Tigers. Brendan, I said to you on Wednesday, what will it take? If they beat Florida, would it just put you a little bit back?
I'm back.
Are you back?
I'm back in terms of, like, I'm willing to ride this out without such a pessimistic view. Like, I think there are going to be frustrating losses along the way, but I think they can be competitive in the conference. I think they can hang. I think that's what Saturday showed us. And I did mention that the factor of maybe knowing some guys would be coming back allows you to dream on an outcome like what we saw a little bit. With Jaden Stone and Trent Pierce, I think it's a different team, a different roster, a different rotation, and it was enough to win that game. They didn't do it pretty. Missed 2 free throws at the end, could have given up the buzzer beater 3 to end it and lose, but they got the win, and that's what counts. They're going to be in games. I really legitimately, until that game on Saturday night, wasn't sure that we would see Missouri in games like this in 2026 just because of how badly the couple of examples from the non-conference went.
Yeah, Vic.
I agree. Well, my son and I, we wagered on Missouri. We took the points. We knew it was going to be close at home. 2 weeks of people calling out Dennis Gates. 2 weeks of people telling the Missouri basketball team they sucked. 2 weeks of isolation. 2 weeks, as I won't say the exact words, of Dennis Gates thanking his men
for letting them be the biggest bleep hole of all time.
For 2 weeks. We knew I knew it was going to be a close game. I did, especially with the 2 guys back. Did I think they were going to win? Not necessarily going there. But they outshot Florida. But my biggest thing was, out of that entire game, energy, enthusiasm, and effort. They equaled Florida in rebounding, and I never thought I would have seen that. Can they keep that same energy night in, night out? The SEC is what I want to see, because it took every ounce of everything that they had just to win by 2 points.
And I thought, too, a big thing was, well, one, the home. I forget, and I need to find the stat. Mizzou's record at home the last 2 seasons is unbelievable. I believe it's like 20-2, I want to say, around there.
Good.
They've been
home court. There's no doubt.
Real at home. And Dennis Gates made adjustments. We have been harping on this. Jacob Cruz, they were using him as like a 4. He was getting manhandled in the paint. Things were going wrong. They moved Cruz out. They get some other guys in. And they were giving up so many open threes. And that's kind of the strategy, is to turn teams over. You're going to give up some shots. Well, Florida wasn't making a high percentage of threes, so they finally just took away the threes, because while Florida wasn't making a lot, like they were shooting poorly, they still were getting so many open threes that they were making some.
7 of 27.
Exactly.
Yeah, they didn't shoot well. Like, a lot of things had to go right for Mizzou to win this game, because Mizzou didn't shoot the lights out. They had kind of a normal shooting night, and were bad again from free throws, and I just think they always will be. It's pathetic, and I will never not think it's pathetic. But they benefit from Florida not shooting great in the game, and I just, though, like that Missouri was able to win a game without looking up and, they shot 50% from three. This wasn't that type of game. They had to win it a little bit ugly.
45% Missouri, 41% Florida.
Yeah. I think the best part, Brendan, of what you just said is this is a game that is replicable. You can do that again. You can repeat that performance. If they shoot 60% from the field and are lights out, unconscious, like I think of like that Bama game last year, you can't really repeat that. This was a game, a performance you can have happen again and win more games like this. And Matt Harris of Rock Him Nation, who does some great analytics stuff, has said if Mizzou splits this week, they're right back on the bubble. After all of this, they're a 1-1 week away from being right into contention.
I can see that, guys.
10-8 gets you into the NCAA tournament in the SEC.
Kentucky now all of a sudden looks to me like a winnable game because of what I witnessed Saturday.
Oh, I don't expect a win against Kentucky. This isn't me being negative. Yep. I just think Kentucky's a pretty good team, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility. Like, I kind of ruled out the possibility of the Florida game until we find out that you are getting Stone and Pierce back. And that was like, okay, this is sort of a blank slate because we haven't seen this team. We have not seen all year a rotation that includes both Jaden Stone, who impressed early before the injury, and Trent Pierce, who hadn't played all year. And Pierce had his ups and downs last year to where it's like, what's really fair to expect from him when he joins the lineup for the first time? But he played really well, 10 points, 5 rebounds in 19 minutes. He brings an energy that if you can channel that energy and focus that energy, I think he is kind of that guy who can get your loose ball. He is that guy who can fight for the extra possession with a rebound. Like, I like seeing Trent Pierce out there, and I think he was a difference maker. And so the fact they got those guys back allowed me to go, like, coming into the game, I was pessimistic, and then it was, okay, you're getting both these guys back. Maybe there's a chance. I still think they're going to lose, but I am curious to see. And this will be a game that, if it goes Missouri's way, it will allow me to completely reshape what I thought before, because I'll say, oh, this was the difference. You got some different personnel in there, and now it looks completely different. That tells me that you can beat Kentucky. I still probably don't think I would predict it. And I bet the point spread won't either. But I'm going to be watching with, like, hey, maybe.
Yeah. And Stone wasn't like, sorry, Vic. Stone wasn't out of this world. 9.6 rebounds, 8 of them coming in the first 2 minutes of the game. But there was just that presence there that you could feel. A guy that if he had to bring the ball up the court, help facilitate the offense, he could. Trent Pierce, not having your 6'10", 6'11" guy on defense as well that can kind of guard 1 through 5. Big deal. To Brendan's point, chasing the loose ball down. But Anthony Robinson, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists.
Where I was going.
Unbelievable.
Gotta have it.
Banks in the 3. Did you see his comment when asked about the bank?
He said he's been living right.
Yes. He said, I've been living right, so I deserve that. Like,
Anthony,
I'm going to try to find that.
I'll take it. I don't know what that means.
I think it means he's been right with the Lord.
You know what he did?
Did they bless the court? Is that something that
I don't think they did that.
I'll take care of that. Anthony Robinson looked like he was all SEC to me. That was so key. He is a difference maker. He was alive. He was active. He was bouncy. He played offense. He played defense. And I'm like, okay, there we go. You've got to have you've got to have somebody else that looks all SEC besides Mark Mitchell. There's too much talent in the conference. And he looked the part the other night.
That was the Anthony Robinson of that, the guy that can be the NBA prospect that we have seen, the first round draft pick that we have seen, like the guy that is in mock drafts last year, first round pick. That was Anthony Robinson.
He's one of the reasons, guys, why Missouri was able to tie Florida, who was known for their rebounding with their big team and their boards. They did what they had to tie Florida in rebounding. That may sound boring to a lot of people, but that's key.
Florida's a big team.
Yeah, they didn't let rebounding be the reason they lost, right? Like, you just kind of make that as muck it up and make it about as even as you can, to where at the end of the game, you're not going, oh yeah, Florida got 8 extra possessions because of, inability to close out on the boards. Like, that wasn't the factor in this game. And they played gritty, I think. That's something that at times we just don't. It's like the effort can be there sometimes, but the execution of it is just not at all to be seen. And they were able to kind of coalesce those two things in the win on Saturday.
I'm so happy about this because I was just so worried that I love Mizzou basketball. I love basketball.
I wasn't worried.
Season.
I was out.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, it's done. It'll be what it is. Like, I was resigned to my fate.
Even if Mizzou doesn't make the NCAA tournament, if they're competitive enough to where they're on the bubble, I will be. After everything that happened in the non-con, I will take that this year.
No,
like, I will take a 9-9, 8-10. Where, hey, maybe if we get hot at the end of the year in March, we could win enough games to get in. Like,
keep our attention, keep us in it as a fan base, because there are good things coming for Mizzou basketball
Yes.
when you have a recruiting class that includes Jason Crow Jr. and other top players. Like next year's recruiting, if you add a couple key pieces in the portal, you could really see next year be a great year. But if they're able to say, hey, we've got a foundation of guys that are going to be around for that, and they're part of a run this year that we at the end of non-con didn't really see coming, yeah, I'm not going to judge this on did they or didn't they make the NCAA tournament. But if it's a difference of what I really thought was possible at the end of the Illinois game, like a 4-14 or a 5-13 conference season, and if that ends up being, like you said, Grant, 8 to 10 wins in conference play, like there will have been moments that show you not only what we know about guys like Mark Mitchell and guys that are going to be gone for next year, but guys that I think are going to be underclassmen contributing and can be kind of penciled into next year's rotation as you infuse an addition of some key talented players.
And I was worried Mizzou was going to do the every other year thing. And I'm still saying they still could win 4 or 5 games in the SEC. But what we saw yesterday looked like a team that can compete in enough games to win at least 7 to 8 and build the foundation. I was worried it was going to be
because of their home games and how good they are at home.
They're going to win a lot of home games. I mean, they're going to beat ranked teams at home.
And credit to the Missouri faithful again after what we saw against Illinois.
No students either in that place was packed.
To show up, have it packed, loud, crazy, without the full complement of students. Kudos to the Missouri fan base.
And now on hopefully January 14th, I don't think class is back in session, but you're home against Auburn. That place should be packed out as well. Would you take 1-1 this week as continue to build? You're at Kentucky and you're at Ole Miss. If they win one of those games,
2 road games,
yes,
because
I'd take 1-1.
In Ole Miss, I'm looking up now trying to find the KenPom. They're not a highly rated team.
No,
they're rated below Missouri. They're 69th. Missouri is 60th, and Kentucky is a good team that you expect will be in the NCAA tournament. They're 24th. In KenPom. So you'll be a healthy underdog in this midweek game. And then I imagine a slight underdog, but if you go and play in Lexington to like a 1 or 2 possession loss, that's even going to make me more confident that you could potentially go into Oxford and win. Yeah, I'm absolutely taking any time you can pick off a road game, even if it's a team that's not considered to be the upper echelon of the conference. That's key because as Vic said, Mizzou is going to win a lot of home games this year. Like that's what makes me change my mind already. I just needed to see it once. And I know Florida's not the team that won the championship last year. They've got different pieces now. But I see it once, and I'm pretty convinced that they're going to win more than half of their home games, which tells me I'm already bumping up my number of they can win 6, 7, maybe 8 or more conference games, especially if you start talking about picking some off on the road. If they beat Kentucky, I will be completely – you won't be able to restrain me anymore with my optimism. I don't think that's happening, but I'm just telling you right now, like what that would do is, go in, then you go for the jugular and try to get the 2-0 week. But I want to see how they play against Kentucky. I want to see how they come back after the emotional win of Saturday, where they probably knew like this was kind of teetering towards something we don't want our season to be, and then they're finally, kind of finding a way to stabilize that. What do they do in the follow-up when they have to have some adversity by going on the road to a really tough place to play? If they play well in that game, win or lose, I'm going to be really, really optimistic about the way things could turn.
Yeah, I think an ideal week would be you cover a spread against Kentucky, your KenPom rating probably moves up, and then you go beat Ole Miss. I think everybody would take that.
Perfectly suitable.
And let's just run it the whole distance. If by chance they win both games, they're a top 25 team.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen just because
maybe not yet.
I'm just telling you that shows me they're a top 25 team.
I see.
The quality of their team, if they were to do that this week, I would tell you that they are my expectations on a dime would shift to, this could be a 4.
That'd be a 3-0 SEC team.
This team better make the tournament. Like if that's what they are, now that you infuse Trent Pierce, who I didn't know what he was going to be. I was a fan of his game last year, but there were times where he was unplayable. And it was just the inconsistency of him. You didn't know what version of him you are going to get when he came back from injury. Really liked what we saw from him Saturday.
Solid
really
6 minutes.
What we saw from Ant. And Ant is the same way, where like the upside is tremendous, but when he's not playing that way, it can be difficult to watch. He can be very reckless. And so if you're getting that version of Pierce, you're getting that version of Ant. I think Jaden Stone is more of your steady Eddie. He'll have some bigger point totals than he did on Saturday. If you have those 3, in addition to what obviously Mark Mitchell is going to bring you, very different looking roster, different looking team.
And I think too. Okay, they've won one home game. They're 1-0 at home. They have 8 more home games in the SEC. They win 5 of those, 6 of those. You're talking about they're at 6 or 7 wins there. You got to find 3 or 4 on the road, and you're probably in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I'm not ready to do the let's count the
I'm
wins.
just saying. I'm just saying.
I agree.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
but
There's gonna be games like you're gonna host Auburn. You're gonna host Georgia. You're gonna host these teams that are top, 25, top 30 teams in KenPom. And that's going to be the majority of the games that you play.
Yeah.
But my thought is that's what the Florida game was. So to think you could win about half of those difficult ones, and then you got to have like the Mississippi States and the ones that are, a little bit lesser. There's not many gimmies at home on the schedule. Texas probably should be a game that you win at home. They can win. I would say if it's less than 5, it's disappointing in terms of the home slate because you already have one. And you've got a couple there that I think you're better than that team.
Yeah.
And then you got to win a couple of those that maybe the team's better than you, but you can't win on the road as easily, especially at a place like Mizzou where, as you said, Grant, that this isn't just like, hey, nice win at home. It's been a home court situation for whatever you might say about the fan base and this and that and the other. They have defended home court very well in this building.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, you get probably the 2 worst teams in the SEC on the road with South Carolina and Ole Miss.
Correct.
There's where you got to win those.
You got to win those.
To. Must win.
The floor is like 7 if you execute in those spots like you should. And then you just find a way to steal a couple more and you're really in a conversation.
It's interesting because, guys, Wednesday shows me or should show us how legit are they, because what I saw with that, as I said earlier, energy, effort, and enthusiasm, there was a hunger that we had to win, to fight every situation. Everybody's sprinting around. Can they take it on the road? We've seen them do it at home. Next challenge, can you do it on the road at Kentucky?
And sustain all that positive energy and the way that they executed and everything you just mentioned. There's no reason now that Dennis Gates can't look those kids in the eye and say, this is what it has to look like, guys. This isn't like now we've climbed the mountain, we're here, we didn't embarrass ourselves this year. Like, you got a whole conference slate to play, and you can absolutely establish yourself as one of those top 25 teams in the country.
I want to be mean. Continue to be mean. Do not be a player's coach.
No kidding.
I'm sorry. I'm a big Izzo guy.
That wakes up Dennis Gates a little bit, honestly, because I know that he's a super nice guy, but maybe you got to have that little bit of an edge with a group of players that you want to be a player's coach so badly. But if they're not responding, if they're not like coming up with the things to be doing on their own with just like letting their athleticism shine, you have to drill down. And it seems as though Dennis Gates drilled down with these guys the last couple of weeks, and we saw the fruits of that. And I really hope it continues.
Isn't it funny how we change? On Wednesday, it was, man, this team it's going to be a tough watch. It's going to be a tough next few months. And all of a sudden, one win changes the way you view everything.
But they look like a different team. It's Brendan. It's not your fault. That was a
different team. They are a different team because they have different players. And like Dennis Gates said that. Did I believe him? No. I didn't believe him when he would say, look, we're going to get healthy and that's how it's going to turn around. Because I didn't see the principles of the roster that was there that were going to turn into this. But I think a couple of key pieces that are maybe a couple of glue guys are the guys that they got back.
Yeah.
And by the way, I know he hardly played, but they don't win that game if Trent Burns doesn't hit the buzzer beater before the first
that's
half.
true.
It was an absolutely pitiful.
I was like, what are you doing? Yes.
To just dribble for 10 seconds. I'm like, go. Do something. And then Trent Burns is open. He pick and pop it. He nails it. I mean, they don't win the game without that. So I wanted to make sure to shout that out.
And I was thinking as he got the ball, I was like, that's the guy you're shooting the picket. Oh,
no.
Crazy.
Yes.
Absolutely
nice.
Crazy.
Smart man. All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Gabe DeArmond of Power Mizzou talk a little bit more Mizzou basketball and get us up to date with everything going on in the Mizzou transfer portal world. Some breaking news. Marquise Davis has just committed to Louisville, the former Missouri running back. So we're going to talk all that over with Gabe DeArmond right after this quick break.
Lou Information Station, a whole new way to enjoy content created just for those of us in the St. Louis area. It's a whole new way to advertise and promote your business. Reach out and find out just how different we are. If you're tired of one-sided advertising offerings or your traditional media rep trying to shove digital marketing down your throat, visit luinfo.com and click on advertising. or email partnerships@luinfo.com for more information. The Earl Austin Experience with Earl Austin Jr. Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. Brought to you by Fast Track Auto Transport, St. Louis's go-to company for all your vehicle transport needs. Visit ftautotrans.com or call 636-677-9004.
At Commercial Technology Solutions, we are all about solutions. We pledge that our sales staff will listen carefully to your needs and propose a solution customized to your business. Our services and tech support are second to none. When you establish your relationship with Commercial Technology Solutions, you can have confidence that your tech needs are in the hands of St. Louis's best. Contact them in Missouri at 314-421-3550, in Illinois 618-452-3550, and online at ctsphone.com.
Tune in each week as STL Sports Central, the Lou Information Station, and the Too Many Men on the Mic podcast present the Mid-States Club Hockey Association Game of the Week. Brought to you by Mattingly Lumber, Vantage Credit Union, Chicken and Pickle, and by the Watson Private Wealth Group at Stifel. LouInfo.com News Headlines. Brought to you by Brown and Crouppen, 222-2222.
With your LouInfo.com news, I'm Jared Sorello. Multiple protests were held in St. Louis over the weekend against U.S. military action in Venezuela. Demonstrators gathered Saturday at Forest Park and on the Tam Avenue overpass Sunday, voicing opposition to the attack and the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The protesters also called for the impeachment of U.S. President Donald Trump. They say the operation is another needless military intervention by the U.S. A person who was found dead in St. Louis last Friday is identified as a missing woman. Police said the body of 42-year-old LaToya Smith was discovered just off the St. Louis Riverfront Trail near Humboldt Avenue. Smith had been reported missing a few days prior. Authorities continue to investigate a crash in St. Louis County that left 2 people dead and 4 injured. State troopers said a driver lost control on Highway 367 late Friday night, crossed the median, and collided with another vehicle. For the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com. I'm Jared Sorello.
Now, LouInfo.com weather, presented by STL Sports Central. St. Louis sports, anytime, anywhere.
Here's your LouInfo.com weather update. Pretty mild today. We're headed for the upper 50s. We should get sunshine. High pressure is covering the Central Plains, and that's taking care of our weather too, so things look pretty good for a while. Few clouds overnight, mid-40s. We're in the low 60s and sunny on Tuesday. For Wednesday, we'll stay right around 60, and we keep the sunshine. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton for the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com and the free Lou Info app.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It should not be based solely on advertisements.
Not sure how to get a lawyer after an accident? Call Brown and Crouppen. We'll walk you through it. Worried it'll cost too much? Here's a fact. At Brown and Crouppen, you pay nothing up front, and we never get paid unless you do. When you're our client, you'll have all your questions answered, all for free. Hurt? Get the facts and help you need. Call Brown and Crouppen now.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rate you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-298-0306. 800-298-0306. 800-298-0306. That's 800-298-0306.
Hockey parents, be honest. Are your tournaments this season feeling a little unpredictable? You've planned the weekend, booked the hotel, hauled the gear.
You deserve a tournament provider that's as organized as you are. And that's where Big Bear Tournaments comes in. No guessing games, no mystery matchups. We proudly list every registered team right on the website. You always know exactly who's in your division. There's great competition, clear communication, and zero last-minute surprises. Make your season smoother. Check out your next tournament at BigBearTournaments.com.
And welcome back to the Lou Information Station. We are live and on demand at LouInfo.com. Grant, Brendan, and Vic Faust in here with you talking all things Mizzou. And we have Gabe Diarman of Power Mizzou on. Gabe, how are you this morning?
Not bad. What's going on, man?
Just keeping up with all things Missouri Tigers, as we know you are. In the big news over the weekend, besides the big basketball win, was the report that Austin Simmons, the Ole Miss starting quarterback at the beginning of the season, now backup quarterback for the Rebels, will be transferring to Mizzou. At least that's the expectation once the Rebels are eliminated from the college football playoff. Your reaction to that news coming out of Columbia?
Well, I mean, obviously Drinkwitz got one of the guys he wanted. I don't know whether he was number one, number three, whatever, but he was in the top group because you don't take him the day the portal opens if he isn't. So that's good news. I understand Missouri fans that are a little bit skeptical too, because they say, well, we just watched a season where they took a guy that had never been a starter and, it didn't really work. So I understand the skepticism on that front too. And ultimately we won't know if he was right for about 10, 12 months, and we will judge it then. I mean, everybody else will judge it today, but we'll see how it goes.
Gabe, do you feel definitively that Simmons has to be the guy to start, or is this a case where you're bringing in a guy with less experience to kind of be able to feign a competition with Matt Zollers? How do you view that?
No, I mean, look, he is it. I would expect him to start next year. Now, if Matt Zollers beats him out and plays better than him, then either that's really good news because Matt's gotten a lot better, or really bad news because you paid a pretty good amount of money to a guy that's not good enough to start. But I'm expecting him to be the starter. I would not be shocked if Missouri brought in another quarterback in the portal, but I think it's unlikely that you're bringing in another guy that is like starter caliber. You're probably looking at a guy more that's competing with Matt Zollers to be the backup at that point. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they've guaranteed Simmons anything, but certainly he's not coming here. It's exactly like Bo last year. He's not coming here expecting to sit the bench.
Gabe, when it comes to this whole situation of the portal right now, I mean, we knew things were going to change, but you're doing a freaking phenomenal job at keeping people updated through Powers. It's phenomenal, in my humble opinion. I got no reason to blow BS past you, but it's great to watch. 17 visits in a week in the portal and 3 from this week. That's for I can't even comprehend what this is like for the recruiting staff and the coaches. I mean, players just zipping in, zipping out, and trying to keep track of the money that's going out.
It's nuts. I mean, I have talked to multiple people in college football in the last week that have told me I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. And like they're not joking. It is exhausting. I mean, to give you guys an idea, and I always say, like when I communicate with coaches, I say, this is my experience in it, and it doesn't compare to yours. I don't know how you do this, but on Friday, I spent probably 5 hours with about a 20-minute break, kind of just staring at my computer, getting everything updated. And here's this moving piece and that moving piece, and this one just changed, all that. Closed my laptop, went across the parking lot to run into a grocery store real quick to pick something up. Before I got into the grocery store, Pete Thamel had tweeted about Austin Simmons. I pull out my laptop, connect to Wi-Fi through my phone, updated some stuff, literally sitting in my car. That's how. And again, I am not complaining. I'm just trying to give people an idea of that's our experience in this thing. Now think about what it's like for the coaches. Like, for example, Emmanuel Poku, offensive lineman from East Carolina, was reported on, I think it was Saturday night when we were at the basketball game. He's visiting Missouri on Monday. Reported this morning, hey, he's in Lubbock, Texas today. Missouri now no longer expects him to visit. Carius Kern, offensive lineman from LSU, now visiting on Wednesday. That's kind of the replacement there. So this changes. It doesn't change every day. It changes multiple times every day. And these guys trying to sift through this while also, by the way, having to negotiate to keep the current players on their roster here. I don't know how anybody keeps up.
Yeah, the re-signing, as I see. Oh, we're re-signing.
Yep.
And can you explain, like, because I've seen reports that they're 2-year contracts. Why do they have to re-sign? Some of these guys had 2-year contracts. Why are they then having to re-sign another contract when, in theory, they have another year on the contract they just signed? Like, it's all like that is, I think, one of the more confusing parts of the whole NIL is this contracts going on.
Because the contracts don't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
yes.
Like Marquise Davis was under a 2-year contract. Now, there is a buyout in that contract. When he transferred, he said, I'm leaving. So wherever he lands, which as of 10 minutes ago is Louisville, he has to pay Missouri back some amount of money. I don't know what that amount is, but, like it's what happened with Damon Wilson.
Yeah.
He signed a deal that said, I'm staying at Georgia. And then 6 days later, he left. And so he theoretically owes Georgia $390,000. Now there's a legal battle over whether that's going to be paid or not, whatever. I don't really care. It's not my money. But no, these contracts don't mean anything. And I think like they're announcing some of these re-signings, Missouri is being very strategic about spreading these out so that there is good news. Like Marvin, we break the news at, 1:00 on Friday afternoon, Marvin Burks entering the portal. Literally 10 minutes later, there's a tweet out. Trajan Greco has re-signed with Missouri.
Yeah.
It's all a shell game. It's wild. And I understand people that say, I can't do this. But the truth is there aren't very many of them. Like a lot of people say they're not going to pay attention and say it's ruining college football and all that. But like the same Missouri fans that are saying college football is ruined when Marvin Burks entered the portal. Nobody said that when Ahmad Hardy signed last year, right? The good news is going to start. The only goal of the portal is get it out of it more than you put into it. Eli Drinkwitz has been phenomenal at doing that so far. We'll see if he is again.
Gabe, where do you think Missouri needs the most good news? Because they've gotten a lot of good things on the offensive side. The 2 running backs are back, Alubade back. They've found their quarterback. Is it offensive line or is it just reloading a defense that certainly is losing some pieces? How do you view kind of where they stand right now as the good news hopefully begins to trickle in?
Yeah, losing some pieces is the understatement of the year. There is a world in which the only guy that started games for Missouri's defense that is back next year is Santana Banner, and he didn't start them all. He started some of them. Damon Wilson could be back. We don't know. He has 9 days to decide if he's entering the NFL draft. Everybody else that was a regular starter last year is gone. They need 3 cornerbacks out of the portal. They need probably 3 defensive linemen. They need a linebacker. They need 3 or 4 receivers. And this is the part where you look and go, is this sustainable? Like every time a high school guy leaves, Missouri fans just go, well, no big deal. He didn't play anyway. Well, but you need more than 22 guys. So you can't go into the portal looking to replace your starting lineup every single year. And I'm not blaming Missouri or blaming Eli Drinkwitz. They're not a lot different than a lot of other places, but you are literally putting together an entire new roster. As of today, Missouri has something like, and I'm spitballing here, but something like 45 guys who were on the roster last year that are going to be on it next year. And like some of those guys are just walk-ons that they were here. They'll be back. They didn't play last year and they're not going to play this year. So you're looking at somewhere between when you start to include the high school kids, you're looking at legitimately 40 to 60 new faces on the roster next year. It's not unusual, but I don't know how you can do it every single season.
Gabe, can you give people an idea of how long this is going to go on for? Because the portal's supposed to be open, I thought through January 16th, but it can't extend, can't
if they're
it?
in the national championship.
Yeah, so players who are in the national championship have 5 days to enter afterwards. So, yes, the people on those two teams can still, I guess it would be January 24th or 25th. We still kind of pretend that school matters in all this. So you do not have to find your new school by January 16th. You just have to say you're in the portal. You have to find your new school theoretically by whenever the ad drop date is. But I got news. The ad drop date for a good football player is different than the ad drop date for a good chemistry major. I mean, they'll find ways. I think
that was my point.
I think the majority of it will be done by January 25th, 26th, in that range somewhere. But there could be a few other pieces that happen here and there. And we're not even talking about like these lawsuits that I don't what if everybody gets an extra year of eligibility? Yeah. What if all of a sudden Kevin Coleman wants to come back to I don't know, guys. It's insane.
Now, talking about kind of what you were talking about with the new faces, like if you look at basketball, it's one thing to have a completely new roster. You get 8 to 10 guys. You can do that kind of easily. But I think something that maybe Mizzou fans aren't talking about enough is like, is Mizzou spread too thin in this transfer portal of what you said? They need some line on both sides. They need almost a completely new defense. They need some receivers. They got their quarterback. They need a punter. They need a punter. But just all these guys, 40 to 60 new faces, you said, like, are they spread too thin, like NIL wise, that maybe they'll run out of funding by the end of it?
So the comparison I just made was, you guys have seen on social media these little graphics they put out. You've got $15 to build your team.
Yes.
Right? Pick a $5 player, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you pick one from out every category, that costs $15. Mm-hmm. You can pick 2 from the $5 category, but then you got to shop in the $1 aisle too. You can pick 5 $3 players. That's what this is, except some schools are given $15. Some are given 5. Some are given 60.
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible they don't? Missouri has to shop smart, right? Like, they can't just go out and, like Texas Tech is paying literally top of the market prices for every player they want. They just reportedly paid Brendan Sorsby $5 million.
Correct.
Now, I looked like, I don't know. I guess if you have so much money, you don't care what you spend. I guess he's worth $5 million. I wouldn't pay $5 million for him, but it's not my money, so whatever. But I compared it this morning to the NFL, where there are a lot of college football fans that don't really follow the NFL, but you need to start because it gives you an understanding how this works. Half the teams in the NFL pay their quarterbacks at least $40 million per year. That is somewhere around 14% of the total salary cap. So what that does is it reduces the average amount of money you can pay every other player on a 53-man roster by $750,000. It's why people say you need your quarterback on a rookie deal, because the quarterback at that point is taking up 6% of the salary cap. So I've got more money to surround him with a good team. The more money you give to your quarterback, the less money you have to surround him with talent. That is true for most teams in college football. Doesn't appear to be true for Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Ohio State, Indiana. There are a handful of exceptions. But like Eli Drinkwood said, we only have a certain pot of money. We have to make that pot of money go around for every single guy on this roster. So it's real easy to say, well, go pay $5 million for a quarterback. You need a quarterback. Cool. Well, you just took $750,000 away from every other player on your team, or whatever the number is, right? So it's really difficult to manage unless you have Phil Knight or Cody Campbell or one of these guys just saying, just come back to me at the end and give me the bill and I'll write the check.
A lot of craziness going on with football, Gabe. I want to get a basketball thought, though. Missouri did defeat the defending national champions on Saturday. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Is it just as simple as, yes, getting a couple of guys back healthy, Trent Pearson, Jaden Stone, makes a difference? Or how did you see the vast difference we saw from that Missouri team compared to some of the other marquee games it played in the non-con?
I do think that's a big part of it, is the injuries were closer to as big a deal as Dennis Gates made them than they were as minimized as a lot of the rest of us made them. So I think that's part. I think another part is that team, like, if you weren't going to do it on Saturday night, you weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it was over. That was the it has to happen now. Otherwise, we're just kind of playing out the string. And so they came out, they played with desperation, they got it done. I don't want to pretend that everything is fixed and oh, hey, we're all just rolling now. 17-1. But I think what they did is they gave themselves a chance. Right? They put some things back on the table that most of us, myself included, had taken off the table. And now we'll see. They're at Kentucky on Wednesday. They're at Ole Miss on Saturday. I think to continue to be able to have those things realistically on the table, you need to win at least one of those games. And that's where we're going to be at now. Every week is, every week you need to be 1-1, and then you need to find a couple weeks where you can get 2-0.
And how important is it, like, to have those guys surrounding your Anthony Robinson and Mark Mitchell? Because we saw last year Mark Mitchell was at his best with Tamar Bates, Caleb Grill on the court in taking attention away from him. Then we saw against Kansas and Illinois, they said, we'll double team Mark Mitchell, and if other guys beat us, great, and nobody else beat you. Just having Stone and Pierce, like, and then having Anthony Robinson play like that, it seems like that's what it's going to be needed to win games down the stretch here in the SEC.
Yeah, you've got to have a couple guys that are threats to make jump shots beyond just Jacob Cruz, and Stone and Pierce both showed they are able to do that on Saturday night. And that helped take some of the pressure off of Anthony Robinson. And finally on Saturday, we saw the guy he was supposed to be this year. 19 points, 8 boards, 5 assists. Now, to expect that every night, I think is a little bit too much, but like, he needs to be that guy far more than he's the guy we saw most of the non-conference season. If he is, then, there are going to be nights where teams start to go, we got to keep Robinson out of the lane. We got to guard these shooters. And those are the nights Mark Mitchell's going to go get 25. Then you have a complete team that you can look at and say, hey, we can win some games. Because like you said, Kansas and Illinois, I mean, it was not a difficult game plan. I could have made it. Put 3 guys on Mark Mitchell. Nobody else can beat us.
Gabe, were you at the game Saturday night?
I was, yeah.
What was that atmosphere like, comparatively speaking? Was it, there wasn't students, really?
There actually were some.
Okay.
It was more full than you would have expected.
It looked great, especially for a team that just came off the loss like Illinois.
Yeah, I don't know what the official attendance was. I don't know if it was a sellout or not, but it wasn't quite Alabama last year, but it was the closest it's been since then.
Wow.
It was really good. I mean, I wrote this morning, like, that was a night where, like, I walked out of the arena going, that was really fun. I enjoyed that. Like, if you were at that game, I would think you enjoyed it. There was, I think there was some tension and some nerves in the first half, especially when Missouri fell down to 8. But then as they made that comeback, when Trent Burns hit the 3 to end the first half, and then they started the second half on a run, like, that whole second half, that crowd was into it and kind of willed them, over the finish line there at the end. And so, it was a good atmosphere. And I think it showed that, hey, maybe those of us who live online and who have to read message boards and social media every day, like, that's not reflective of the way the whole fan base feels. Not like, look, everybody was mad after Illinois, and should be. Like, that Illinois game should not happen here. There's no excuse to lose that game by 43 points. And frankly, I think lay down in the second half, which I think Missouri did. But, I think it did show that the general feeling about this team is more positive among the fan base than it is if you read my message board or Twitter.
Well, Gabe, thank you for coming on. Do want to give you a chance, though. Tell everybody what's going on at Power Mizzou. Believe there's a chance to save some money at Power Mizzou today.
Yeah, today's last day, 50% off the first year of an annual subscription. So I think it comes out to $5 a month for the next 12 months. It is transfer portal all day, every day for the next 2 weeks. But hey, we're covering, like, Drew King is going to be in Lexington, in Oxford this week. He's going to be the only guy on the road for both games covering Missouri. Spring football, take you all the way through the calendar year next year for $5 a month. So hope you check it out. And what's going on? I don't know, guys. There might have been 5 changes since I've been on the phone with you. I gotta go catch up.
All right, Gabe. Well, thank you for joining us. Always great to talk to you. Make sure to go to subscribe to Power Mizzou.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Gabe Yarman on
Love
Power
it.
Mizzou. Always great.
He really does a really good job. And now, and Brendan, you know it from doing what you do, it's so difficult to do this job keeping up. It's so, especially in the portal, because everything's happening so fast.
Yeah, we talk about how we hate it because it's impossible to keep up, and like it's the coaches hate it for obvious reasons. The media obviously doesn't love having to just, follow it. And I'm sure Gabe did miss a few things during his interview with us. But as a fan, it is really kind of an exciting time because every single day you're going to learn new things about your program for the coming season. And some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be bad. Gabe said it well. It's kind of you look at the net result at the end of it. You can't react to each and every move. When Marquise Davis was entering the portal, I was concerned about that move because I said, well, I don't know if Jamal Roberts is staying. Once I find out Jamal Roberts is staying, great. I'm not worried about that other thing anymore. And so that's kind of an example as to why you have to try to kind of keep even keel as you're following it all. But yeah, there's a lot more things that's going to happen. They've got a whole defense to replace.
Something
said, so it's coming.
Sorry, something that's interesting with Jamal Roberts staying. Now, am I mistaken? He has 2 years of eligibility left, correct?
If he stays.
If he stays. Here's the thing, though. There's a world where Ahmad Hardy declares for the NFL draft, probably pretty likely after this season, and Jamal Roberts would be handed the keys to the city. Like he's RB1. So like this is, and I know Brendan and I have talked about this and Vic too. Future doesn't matter anymore in college football. You're looking year by year. But for Jamal Roberts, like you might have not only kept him for this year, but next as well, because he'd be crazy to leave after Hardy goes to the NFL, unless he goes to the NFL too.
If he weren't going to the NFL as well, I agree. I think he would be one of, if not the best running back in the SEC the following year if he's got an additional year of eligibility. So,
and right now, top running backs are being paid $1 million.
Yeah,
that's the top level. Ahmad Hardy's making $1 million, if not more. I promise you that right now.
Jamal Roberts is gonna be in that boat in a year. I didn't really think about that because he only had one game that he participated in the previous year, and so upcoming will be his 3rd year of participation. So yeah, he should be able to
be a redshirt junior.
Hey, you know what else
is
is
go to the NFL? He very well could go to the NFL at the same time though, with the talent that I consider him to have.
Kind of like what we saw with the Notre Dame running back room with Love and Price both
exactly right.
You know what else is going on, guys? And it doesn't mean anything for next year, but Missouri's still recruiting high school kids too.
No.
High school has not ended. They're still recruiting high school. As a matter of fact, they had so many receivers leave a week and a half ago. They offered a kid out of Lee Summit, and they're still recruiting high school players, which is just bizarre. So you got the high school mix, which is still going on, plus the college portal mix, and the money. Absolutely crazy.
Do you find
insane.
it hard to get super excited about high school recruiting for football right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't care less.
Because here's the thing. I wasn't even in the early signing period at all. At all.
Unless it's a 5-star receiver or quarterback.
At all.
Or running back. I don't care.
And the reason that I bring that up is to show just what these coaches are dealing with.
Yeah.
It's insane. Gabe was talking about it when it came to they're trying to get you. Oh, yeah, these guys left, but you still have to have players on your freaking team. I mean, Iowa State had 47 transfers. 47 transfers. Oklahoma State had 45 transfers.
That's aided by their coaches.
Coaches leaving.
Yeah. The world we live in. It's crazy. I mean, being a college basketball coach is so much easier right now than college football.
Yeah, because you could lose your whole roster, but you only got to get 5 guys, and then you got a team. Get some depth. But yeah, it's to think about truly probably a whole defense. Like Gabe said, Santana Banner started some games. Damon Wilson, we're still waiting to see.
That's scary,
pro. It's going to be a lot to replace.
That is scary. I've been saying it for months.
A lot of the more recent posts by Mizzou football of the guys they've re-signed, we joke about re-sign. A lot of defensive ends from the depth of that room are coming back, and I think there's talented players in that group to where you'll see guys that play rotationally and they step into starting roles. I'd love to see, adding a big edge rusher, but at the same time, I think there might be other spots that you need to prioritize the funding, and that's what I expect them to probably do.
And like Gabe said figure out what superstar you're going to get. Who's the Damon Wilson? Who's the Zion Young? Oh, for DBs, can we buy off the $1 menu, but get some value for that $1? Like it's really, really hard, and this is where scouting is so important because maybe this guy only has a 50 to 100,000 NIL valuation, but man, he's gonna be a lot better than that by the time we're done with him. Like, just that is going to be so critical because Missouri only has so much money.
Yep, it's fun. I enjoy this. I do. I'm concerned about their defense, but I enjoy it. I love it.
I want to give thanks to Gabe DeArmond for coming on Wednesday. We'll be talking more Mizzou hoops as they prepare for their battle against the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington. Up next, it's Charlie Tuna and the Posse on the Lou Information Station.
Fast Track Auto Transport has been a trusted leader in vehicle shipping for over 25 years, providing reliable, affordable